Aloha Libra. Welcome to your tarot reading for the week of April 20th through the 26th. We're going to go ahead and dive right in. If you want a personal reading or if you want to join us over on Patreon, all that information is down in the description box below. But we're going to go ahead and get started with your tarot reading for the week. We're going to start with the overall theme or vibe. We'll move into any potential obstacles or challenges for the week. Then we'll see how to overcome those challenges or obstacles. And then we'll see anything else that tarot or universe have for you this week. We'll start with a love oracle and then a general oracle to kick off the overall theme and vibe. So let's go ahead and see what's happening in terms of love, emotions, and connections this week. So let's go ahead and see what's going on here, Libra. April 20th through the 26th, love, emotions, and connections. What do we got for Libra this week? We're asking universe and spirit. This card came flying out. Let's see what we have. We have children. Your love life is being affected by children. You are not the first person to get this week. I think there was an earth sign that also had this. Make sure you're watching your sun, moon, and rising for a complete picture this week. But this does not have to necessarily just be physical children. This is tending to your inner child. You might have some opportunities this week, Libra, to fulfill some bucket list items that you've had since you were a kid. Maybe you've always wanted to plan a trip to the Grand Canyon. Maybe you've always wanted to go to the ocean. Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to plant flowers. I don't know. There are some bucket list items here that maybe you will have an opportunity to fulfill this week. There is this energy of tending to your inner child, okay? And if there's not opportunities to fulfill bucket list items this week, maybe this is the week where you reevaluate what your bucket list looks like. When's the last time you wrote out a bucket list? When is the last time you connected with your inner child and asked yourself, what makes me happy? What are hobbies or things or experiences that made me feel free in my life, that made me feel young at heart, and figuring out how to get more of that in your life on a regular basis. Let's go ahead and get a general oracle here to see what we can add to the theme for the week. Let's go ahead and see what are we adding with our general oracle here for Libras this week, April 20th through the 26th. We have oracle cards. You know what? All of you air signs are connected this week. Aquarius also had this energy, oracle cards. There is some guidance here when it comes to oracle and tarot. Maybe you have an oracle deck or a tarot deck that's sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Take it down this week, shuffle it. There's guidance there. But also too, just watching videos like this or connecting with your favorite tarot readers or oracle readers or just spiritual mentors and guides. There is some guidance here for you this week, Libra. If you are trying to maybe figure out what direction you want to head in, or maybe you want to learn how to connect a little bit deeper with your inner child, take out that oracle deck or allow yourself to get a personal reading, whether it's with me or anybody else that you feel called to. There is some guidance and energy that your spirit team have for you this week, and it will be delivered through oracle decks or tarot decks if you allow them to be delivered that way. Let's go ahead and see what our tarot deck actually has to add for the theme this week. Moving into the tarot messages now, what do we have for the overall theme or vibe for the week for Libra, April 20th through the 26th? We have the Six of Cups in reversal, another card that has to do with tending to your inner child. The Six of Cups in the upright really represents that energy of tending to your inner child. Sometimes this can feel like nostalgia, memories, kind of going down memory lane. Maybe you are cleaning out your closet and you come across a box that has some memories in it from your childhood, whether that is elementary school or middle school, whatever this is, right? But when we see this in the reversal, this feels this energy of a need for us to go back and do that. Sometimes this is a challenge or obstacle. Maybe for some of you, there are some things that happened in your childhood or earlier years in your life that may have been traumatic experiences, and maybe we buried some of those memories, and this week they're coming to the surface, and it's a really good week for you to be able to realize them, recognize them, process it, and release things, okay? You're on a path of evolving and healing constantly. That's what we're here to do as humans. And so maybe this week is a good week for you to kind of work through some of those experiences or traumas or just certain things that happened that we kind of buried or packed down there. Allow them to come to the surface this week. You'll be doing a service for yourself as well as the younger version of yourself. Let's go ahead and see what the potential obstacle or challenge might be for you this week. Let's see what the obstacle or challenge is for Libra this week. What do we have going on when it comes to potential challenge or obstacle? We have the Hermit in reversal. Potential obstacle or challenge here is the shadow work. I just did a podcast episode a few weeks ago, depending on when you're seeing this. We just did a podcast episode about shadow work. Go listen to it if you don't know much about shadow work or if you don't know how to do shadow work. But maybe the challenge this week is allowing yourself to look at the shadow version. Just a quick little, recap of what shadow work really is. We all have that sort of shadow self. The shadow self is that space where we were conditioned or taught to not allow certain parts of ourselves to be seen, right? Maybe when you were younger, you used to get really excited about things that you accomplished and somebody told you to stop bragging about things. And now you have a hard time talking about your accomplishments. That is part of shadow work, recognizing that and seeing it is actually okay for me to praise the things that I've done and not feel like that's a selfish thing to do. I'm allowed to take up space. That is obviously one example of thousands of different things. And again, there's lots of resources out there to learn how to work with your shadow, to work through those things. And again, it's interesting because I think the overall theme for you this week, Libra, is all about tending to your inner child and working through some of those things that maybe you were taught was wrong, right? You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to be bright. You are allowed to use your voice. You are allowed to succeed. All of those things you are allowed to do. You should not be ashamed of those things. And who you are genuinely at your core should be praised and should be honored and celebrated. And this is a week that you can really make some big progress on that shadow side or that shadow work. Really going introspective and asking yourself, are there things from my childhood that shaped who I am today in a potentially negative way? Is there something that's holding me back in my life through an experience that happened when I was a child? I might have the resources or the guidance this week to process those things, finally release them, and learn how to work with my shadow, okay? Let's go ahead and see how we're gonna overcome that. I think for some of you, it's just getting over the anxiety or fear of looking back on those things. We have the Empress in reversal. The way that we can overcome that obstacle or challenge this week is remembering that we are the Empress. We are the creator of our reality. We are the creator of our life. What you want to experience, you can create in your life. Yes, we do not have control of what happens externally to us, but we do have control on how we respond to all of these things in our life. Your experiences, the law of attraction, the energy you put out there, how you perceive things, is the glass half full or half empty? All of that has to do with your Empress energy. You are allowed to feel good. You are allowed to have things in your life that bring you happiness and fulfillment. And for some of you, there are some things here from your childhood that maybe has made you feel like you need to earn to feel good, or you need to earn rest. You don't need to do that. You don't. You can have that. It is your right being here as a human. The Empress in the upright is the most attractive card in the deck. She uses her outside attraction to magnetize things and people into her life. She also uses that inner attraction as the law of attraction to create the things that she wishes to have in her life. You are the Empress this week. Make it happen. You are the Empress this week, Libra. And if we have to tell you 10 more times, we will, because you are the Empress this week. Let's go ahead and see any extra messages that universe and spirit have for you this week. I think overall these messages are very empowering. This is a week where you get to kind of wake up, tend to that younger version of yourself and say, I became the person that you needed. I became the person that you looked up to. You have the King of Wands. It is in the reversal. That's okay, because you are kind of going through this transformative week this week. The King of Wands in the upright is the master of the fire suit. He is the master of confidence. He's the master of forward momentum and movement, of action, of passion and excitement. And I think if you really work through these things this week, Libra, you can become the master of confidence in your life. You will find your spark and your passion again, and you will start to get excited for what's to come in this next chapter. This King of Wands is a really nice way to kind of end out this reading, because all of this sort of inner shadow work that you're doing, tending to your inner child, allowing yourself to kind of go in and maybe apologize to your younger self by saying, I'm sorry that I even allowed this person to dim your shine, but we're not going to do that anymore. I'm going to let you shine as bright as you possibly can, right? That is naturally going to get you into a place of feeling so confident, so radiant, being that Empress that you truly are, and using that law of positive energy, positive thoughts, positive attraction to continue to attract new, fulfilling, and beautiful experiences into your life. Libra, I hope that all the Libras see this video this week, because this is such an empowering moment for you. It's such an empowering energy to tap into. And if you're still watching and you're ready to tap into that energy, like this video, subscribe to the channel, join the Ohana. I really appreciate all of you that watch these videos, and that's all I got. If you want to get a personal reading this week because you had that Oracle card come out, go ahead, check the description box below, head over to themagicsiren.com. Other than that, I am going to let you get back to your day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Remember that you are the Empress, and I will see you again soon. Aloha.